Does people ever talk over this music when you start?
Yeah, they talk.
The music always comes in, and we're always quiet, waiting for it to finish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we could talk over it.
You can totally talk over it, man.
You see my little...
oh, you got a trash bin?
Yeah, how cool is that?
Built into...
the workbench.
Yeah, so we're in Guru Bikes, but we're not really in Guru Bikes. We're in Guru Suspension.
Yeah.
And I've looked back here, but I've never come in and sat back here. It's super clean right now.
Clean for 8 hours. On
8 hours
one
clean.
day. Yeah, and I put up the shelf. Everybody
Oh,
can't
that shelf's
see it.
new? Okay.
Yeah, the shelf's new because I have all the vintage forks. So that's not even a fraction of the collection
That you have.
So it's going to get filled up with. So I've got a bunch of old Manitous and Marzocchis and Foxes, and there's a really unique DVO. So that's a Yeti painted DVO.
Oh, it's like I'm colorblind, bro. It's
Celeste.
It's like a turquoise or something?
Yeah, turquoise, yeah. Whatever the Yeti color is, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so that's a one of a kind. And then I have
did someone custom paint that?
Yeah,
then?
that was custom. So
right on.
It showed up on one of the marketplaces, and I saw it, and I was like, it was really clean. Like whoever did a really good job.
Is it a diamond or what is it?
Yeah, it's a diamond, but it's a non-boost.
Okay.
And I'm like, somebody will buy that. And it just never sold.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to put that on the wall. It's just cool.
I'd almost put that up on eBay and just...
I don't think...
Just put it out there. Some random person's going to want it.
Yeah, it's not old enough to be vintage, but it's old enough to not have a lot of value because it's non-boost, you know?
Yeah.
And it's 27.5. So it's not 29. And I'm just like, you know what? It's cool. It's got a story. I'm just going to leave it up there.
It's a double negative.
Yeah.
But it is a cool. You have so much vintage stuff in here, man.
Oh, this tiny bit. I show you the new Trek I got. Michael donated this 951 frame. That's a Turner burner frame. I've got my downhill bikes. I bought 2 of my downhill bikes back from the guys I sold them to.
Right.
So that I can hang them up in the shop. So yeah,
is 951? Is that the actual brand?
That's an Intense. So
yeah,
that was their downhill bike. So one of my downhill bikes, my dream downhill bike,
is or was?
Well, I've had multiples, but
most people have dream girls. You have dream downhill.
Yeah,
bikes.
when I opened the first shop, the first version of Guru, I went to the trade show Interbike, and Intense had this 951 DVO edition. And it was all color matched. It had a DVO emerald fork and a jade rear shock and these Spank wheels that were DVO colored. And it was like the coolest bike. And especially if you're a DVO fan, it was just a cool bike.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really, really want that. And then the next year we opened a shop, and I'm like, we became a Intense dealer.
Yeah.
And I called up the rep, and I'm like, do you got any of those left? And he's like, I got one. It's in your size. And I bought it. And I raced it for a couple years, and then I sold it. And
did it have the VPP suspension design?
Yeah. VPP, whatever version at that time they were calling it. But, and so that 951 is their area code.
Oh, interesting.
And so that's where that came from. And then my old race bike that I got back was an M3 that I raced. And that one is all custom anodized links and stuff. So that has blue links when, nobody else had that. And that one originally had NVs and a bunch of cool stuff on it. I sold it with lower end, so I have to get it. I don't think I'm going to change it. I'm honestly going to probably leave it the way it is, but it's got a ton of race podiums on it. So
that's awesome, man.
And then the other one is a Turner DHR.
Okay.
Which was, I actually got the bike, was a team bike from my old No Brakes race team.
Right.
And I got that bike, and I sold mine a long time ago. I don't have any hopes. I don't even remember who I sold it to. But one of the guys that was on the team right after I retired, he had 2 of them. And ironically, his son is Travis, who we had on the podcast.
Yep.
And so Travis was like, are you interested in these? And I was like, yeah, God, those look really familiar. And they were he raced on No Brakes.
Travis from Old Pueblo.
Old Pueblo, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so his dad was on No Brakes. Like the year that I left, he joined. So we never knew each other.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so Travis introduced us, and I'm still trying to get a picture of his dad so that I can put it up with the bike.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's got all it's Marzocchi equipped. It's got a Romic rear shock. We were sponsored by Romic. It's got all of the team stuff on it. It's really cool. So Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've been kind of spending way too much money on vintage stuff.
Well, every time I come in, there's another one.
Yep.
You had that Trek 9200 out there.
I got the Trek. That was like when I was a little kid. That was like the coolest looking bike ever.
Yeah, glued together aluminum frame.
I got a Foes downhill bike with a.
Are they still around?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they still are. I think they even have an e-bike now.
Right on.
In fact, I saw somebody. Oh no, I saw somebody at one of the bike parks that was on Lenses. That was in Moab, and Lens Sport.
Yeah.
I guess the family that had all these bikes that were Lens Sports bikes, they were friends with Lens. So,
interesting.
So we thought it was crazy to see that many Lens bikes in one spot. Like usually you see one in a lifetime, you know. So,
yeah, Foes Racing.
Yep.
World's finest handmade full suspension bikes.
Yeah, they're still aluminum. There's a little bit of a market for hand-built aluminum bikes, but it's getting hard.
It's interesting. Let's, so, okay. So it's, what day is today? Today's Thursday.
Yep.
We're here in Guru Suspension in the back of Guru Bikes. And, there's a monsoon going on outside. So if you hear something in the background, that's probably the rain.
Got a couple leaks in the roof already.
Do you really?
Yeah. They're weird. Like one monsoon, they'll be in one spot of the building and one in the other. So I know it's wind driving it into somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure.
But it's not a major.
No, they're little.
It's a flat roof. Do you have scuppers that are coming off?
Yeah, there's scuppers and it's slightly
pitched.
Yeah, slight pitch, and then it's got the facade on the front, so it looks flat.
Have you done whitewash up there recently?
Went right before we got it, but I need to do another coat. So,
that's good. Wait till the winter. It's too it's too damn hot right now. That's for sure. Okay, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why couldn't the old bike find its way home?
It was too tired.
No, that's. But this is another punchline.
That works.
It totally works. It lost its bearings.
Oh, God. And I like that you said old because almost no bikes have bearing. Like, I guess they do have bearings.
They have lots of bearings.
Well, I was picturing loose ball.
Okay,
where they literally fall out of the bike.
Their cartridge
the seal cartridge bearings is the new thing. That brings me to our topics tonight.
Yeah, what's our topic?
We're kind of going off of trends
or fads.
Fads, yeah. And we were talking about trend is a nice way of saying fad, but I think they're different. Like we were arguing with Tyler.
Tyler thinks that fads go away and trends stick, or you were arguing that.
He said that
they're synonymous.
Trends go away too, but trends was like a nice way of saying fad. And my argument was fads usually mean that it went away. Like you rarely go, this is that fad. When you say that fad, it's a past tense.
I'm looking up synonyms for trend right now.
Okay.
To see if fad comes up.
See, I think trend
fashionable, chic, in vogue, the latest thing, classic, trendy. So trendy, and now that's trend.
Yeah.
Where's fad? Fad's not coming up here as a synonym.
I don't think
trend.
they're synonyms.
Okay.
So I think one is past tense and one is almost future tense.
Like a fad, something that happened.
Yep.
And a trend, something that's happening.
Happening or going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
And he brought up the point that, they go away because I was thinking trends turn into the norm.
Yeah.
But his point was more on clothing and clothing trends. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that. That goes away, so that blows away my thinking that it becomes the norm.
Well, one thing's for sure is that Dane and I don't always agree on topics. And
I don't know what you're talking about. We always
agree. And it dawned on me, and actually we got some feedback from our listeners that they actually like the fact that we don't agree on everything.
The way you put it, which we're not going to talk about, was a little alarming. I'm just going to say.
I didn't mean it. I
was just like, wow.
They like it when we fight.
He went there. Like he said that. Like.
No, the actual phrase that I used. No, one of our listeners came up and said that to me. Word for word.
If they said it,
I can't say it on here.
Okay, all right.
It's too.
All I know.
Your kids listen to this now, man. It's too.
They don't.
All right,
because I'm scared.
The listener said, "I'm glad that you and Dane aren't just blowing each other."
Yeah,
that's what they said. All right, there we go.
I was like, oh.
There you go. That was rough. Okay, so it's a really good time to be a mountain biker, I think. There's all kinds of awesomeness. Like the bikes have gotten like really good.
Yep.
And like I think most bike brands are putting out really good bikes. We're not like before it was like the Geo was all over the place and you never knew what the hell you're going to get. And one bike would ride like shit and one bike would ride amazing. I think now most of the bikes out We can argue about this too if you want.
I was about to.
And I know the whole COVID story, but what I can't figure out is like, why is the bike industry not capitalizing on this great time? We've got trails blown up everywhere. Mm-hmm. We've got bikes in like great shape. You could argue that the bikes are like way too high priced, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. But like, man, you'd think that they would figure out, the bike industry, like how to capitalize on how great mountain biking is at the moment.
Okay, I want you to picture something.
Okay, I'm going to close my eyes.
Picture like a plastic Tupperware. That's kind of tall.
Got it.
Square. So kind of maybe a quart.
Okay.
Yo. And then I want you to take like a fistful, like a handful of ants and throw it in there.
Okay.
That's the bike industry. That's
how they fire ants.
It doesn't matter. Like they're capable. They can lift a lot of weight. They can do a lot of stuff, but they are running around like their heads are cut off. They don't have there's no clear.
They have no strategy.
There's no cohesion. They don't work together.
They need strategies.
Like a little bit of nature comes out and it makes them work together.
Yeah.
You know, like if you throw a chunk of food in, they'll start working on it, you know?
Okay.
But realistically, they are just running around, getting stuff done and doing stuff. And I don't think they don't have some sort of cabal where they get together and they talk about stuff. Honestly, we've tried that. Like Interbike was kind of
sort of a cabal, like an unofficial one.
It was that way, yeah. And so these ants are just very productive and they can do a lot, but they're really not in line under any one mission, and that's why, you know. So, and then I got to argue with you because you said
most companies are putting out good bikes.
Well, not only that, but you said that bikes in general are just awesome. And I hear that every few years.
Like, oh, no shit.
Well, I mean, you've been riding a long time.
I've been riding for 25 years. Yeah.
So I remember back in the day when we were excited because there was this thing called Norba geometry that came out.
Don't even know what that is.
So probably before you, but this is back when rigid forks, you know, there was no suspension and the geometry of the bike is what made the bike. And, you know, and I've got these vintage bikes that I'm throwing up here and bikes like these Fat Chances that we're putting on there. And then some people will remember that name if they're ancient like I am.
Yeah.
And those bikes were not necessarily super awesome because, I mean, how can you take a steel mountain bike with a rigid fork and make it better than the next guys? Like they're, you know.
Geometry.
It was geometry. And so for a while it was all over the place. And Norba geometry became this kind of standard that stood out, that worked well in races. And that kind of peripheralated into the whole aftermarket or people buying them. You know, the industry started taking them out, and they started
trickle down from the race.
Yeah, and it started to evolve from there, and then it's evolved several times, and it's almost like these kind of like life cycles they go through. You know, and so then like you had 26-inch, and then another big innovation would be like suspension forks came out.
Yeah,
you know, Paul Turner was the guy that started RockShox. And he showed up to races and was begging people to ride his fork. And they're like, that thing weighs a ton. I have this lightweight chromoly fork. I'm so much faster. That thing is like 3-4 pounds. I'm not sticking that on my bike. And then slowly people did, and they started winning and they started having better control. And and it just evolved, you know? And so, but
come on, man. Like I probably started riding honestly, riding mountain bikes when I was in high school in the early 90s.
Yeah. Same here.
So went through all the 90s, went through the aughts, went through the 10s, and the teens, and up till, and I got to tell you, like up till 2018, like there was so much variability in the geometry. Yeah. I feel like right now they've got it freaking figured out. Besides stack height, I guess they have. I guess
what I'm saying is every year
they say that
it's better.
But I've never. Well, it used to be,
but
so for the last few years, it hasn't been though.
But so what happens is you get big jumps. Okay, and we're talking about trends, right? And I was kind of thinking about like, okay, what are some past trends? Like I wanted to talk about fads because I did want to talk about something that came and whether or not they were good or bad or things like that. And so like there's some big jumps in technology. And if you did computers for a living, you could probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
And so like,
do you think the Gates belt drive is one of those things?
No, total fad. Now,
but there's $1 million or $100,000 for anyone that wins this year in the downhill UCI Elite Men's Pro.
Yeah, because they can't get anyone to buy them. They're like, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Like, and it's not. They're going
to make a comeback.
Like
as soon as gearboxes get adopted.
Just think about it this way. Imagine you spent all the money developing that technology.
Yeah.
the tooling and trying to get it to take grip.
And you sold it on 7-spot single speeds.
And yes, how many people do you know with a Gates belt drive bike? Like 0. Now, if you're in the UK, that's probably a bigger percentage, because
why would that be?
They're really much more useful in a very nasty.
Because they don't get all. But you have to have a slit in your frame, right? Don't you? Because they don't come apart.
Yeah, or you have to have some sort of elevated stay or whatever. However, they're figuring it out. Now I think they have connectable ones. So
that actually come apart.
I don't know
like
if it's
a chain
Gates,
does,
but I think somebody's developing one where they can connect them, and that would be great. But I can see a fail point there, because you're trying to put metal with rubber belts, and you've got all kinds of things. When you make a continuous belt like the Gates, you can make it very strong, and take a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
As soon as you put a link in the middle, you're creating fail points.
Point of weakness for sure.
Yeah. So that's a fad to me. That's a fad. It's not necessarily a fad because it's not cool or not useful. It's because it just doesn't proliferate to every rider.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and make a prediction. And my prediction is that the whole gearbox e-bike thing that's just getting started, and there's I think 3 or 4 brands that actually have that right now. I think Shimano came out with the drive unit that does it.
Does it gearbox?
It's gearbox and an electric motor that works together, automatic shifting as well. In that, if that takes off, and I think it will, I think that's gonna drive or catalyze these.
Yeah. So once you get rid of the derailleur, then you can do that. Although I saw something on social media where they're making a belt drive that actually shifts, and it has a tensioner like a derailleur, and it has these lobes that kind of separate, and then a new piece comes in to make it bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah. And again, that will never take root. And honestly, so the derailleur as a trend or something that stays, has just beaten, everything out, not necessarily because it's better. Like there's the guy designing, and I'm sorry to all our listeners who are
actually know this shit.
Well, addicted to YouTube and have seen many videos and know all the guys' names and everything. The
guy you're talking about, the guy that's putting the derailleur up above in the triangle.
In the triangle. And then he's putting the tensioner in another part, and it's kind of crazy. That is goofy, and it's intricate, and it can't be duplicated on every type of bike. And so
the frame's got to be designed to take that.
Yep. And that design is really, so that's a fad that I think will go away, because you just can't make it so useful in every aspect. Well, and the derailleur's weathered that.
I'm making the prediction right now, in 24 months, you're going to have in this shop belt-driven e-bikes.
24 months.
24 months. 2 years.
Okay, so
2
wait,
years.
define it.
2 years.
These are recorded. I don't know if you know that.
I do. Yeah.
Right,
we're going to publish this in the world. You could say, within 2 years.
Okay.
So in July of 2026, it's 2024.
Okay.
In this shop, you will be selling gearbox, e-bike, belt drive.
Okay.
One system.
We have to define some stuff.
Okay, what do we have to define?
So like the current e-bike motors technically have a gearbox, because they have to step down the RPMs in the motor.
Sorry, no derailleur, no cassette.
That's what I needed. So
no derailleur, no cassette.
No derailleur, no cassette.
Gearbox that actually does the shifting. Drive unit. I mean, it's already out.
I mean, we have a belt drive bike in the store. It's a commuter.
Okay.
And it's a BMC.
Okay.
I think.
Well, let's see. We'll come back, and whoever wins will buy a pizza.
Oh yeah, I'm down. What's the Detroit pizza that you brought?
Detroit style pizza, transplant.
Yeah,
I'm going there next Tuesday. We're doing a work event there. Yeah,
it's
over on Speedway. It's
spoiled me.
Same guys that own Cereal Grillers. Yeah, that's great. All right, okay, so some other keep going.
Oh well, I was just going to say, so derailleur, not a trend, not a fad, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been around for how long? Under 100 years.
Yeah. So the guy with the weird derailleur and he's doing that to avoid damaging the derailleur, right?
Because up in Bellingham, didn't you say your daughter just knocked one off this week?
What? Oh yeah. She broke hers at Sunrise.
See, she would have been using this new design.
Totally get it, right?
It would have been fine.
But guess what? That won't proliferate, if I'm using the right word, into the marketplace, deeply, because there's so many constraints. But here's a trend that's going to take off.
Okay, go for it.
Transmission, SRAM transmission.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well,
why we got to talk about
wait a
SRAM?
minute.
Now, come on.
Wait a minute.
You're just saying transmission, like a wireless electric shifting.
No. So yeah, see, I forgot you're uneducated. Let me educate you a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
So transmission is the new style of the direct mount derailleurs that get rid of the hanger. And so what happens is the SRAM's transmission derailleurs are actually mounting, yes, to the frame, but more to the axle. And so what happens is they have two sides.
I got it.
Yeah.
I watched all the marketing videos.
Okay, good. So the selling feature is that it's way stronger. You see the guys standing on them. They are stronger. There's more replaceable parts, and it's more duplicatable to proliferate into the marketplace. Does that make sense?
It is.
And so, and it already has.
It already has. It's already out there.
So you've got the guy trying to protect a derailleur and making something that is cool and awesome, but just is not easily duplicatable, and can't be applied to, can't allow for the creativity that the bike industry wants. Some engineer who's developing suspension doesn't want to be constrained to make this little area that the derailleur can sit into. But he's already, or she is already used to the derailleur hanging off the back of the bike, right?
Yeah, I mean, but if you could, envision a way to connect that internal triangle mounted derailleur to a standard UDH, it could take off. How? I don't know.
Yes, that's you're crazy talk.
It's not crazy, dude. I work for a company.
No.
I work for a company.
It doesn't matter who you work for.
I work
they
for a
couldn't
company.
even do it.
No, we totally could do it.
No
oh my God,
way.
in a fucking heartbeat.
You're talking about
that's like a Tuesday afternoon at my company.
I know, but the UDH is the goal of the UDH.
30,000 engineers. That's what we have.
Yeah, but the goal of the UDH was not to move the derailleur out of harm. It was to create a universal
I'm just saying,
you're
saying it won't proliferate because it's not standardized and you have to design a specific frame for it. I'm saying if you could figure out a way to have an adapter that came up and hook to that UDH, had a little piece that came up, and then put the derailleur right there.
But you're saying right there. That's what I'm saying. That right there
in the triangle.
But that
inside the triangle.
Look at the Trek that I just bought. It doesn't have a triangle.
Okay, well, you bought a Trek from 1983.
What I'm saying,
what are we talking about here?
Though, is that triangle is variable, right? That area where that thing sits. Whether the chainstay
if there's
and
not
the
enough
stay,
space, if there's not enough space, like the new Norcos that came out,
the new
right?
Norco,
they're super thin, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's not enough room in that triangle.
So that's what I mean. You can't take that design and allow an engineer who's designing a bike the freedom to do what they want to do without constraining them a ton. But where the UDH and the rear derailleur sit is already
it's been adopted as a standard.
Yeah, and so it is much easier, and that's why.
But it doesn't even matter because it's all going to be gearboxes anyways.
So have you heard Opinion?
Yeah. Oh yes, I have.
Have you ridden one?
I have not, but I've heard that it's awesome where it puts the center of gravity, how it pulls weight off the axle in the back. Yep. That's all great.
Yeah.
But there's so much like friction and drag in the pedaling, and that's what. This is why I said it's going to be e-bike specific because who gives a shit about friction on an e-bike because you got an engine driving it.
So let's talk about trends.
Okay.
And we're totally off subject, but that's okay.
What's the subject?
Well, I think you made a list.
Yeah.
We're not even on that.
Well, okay. So there is one.
But wait, I have a trend.
Go.
So one of the trends that I'm seeing, at least in e-bikes, is a movement towards lightening the bikes up.
Yeah.
And I predicted this at least 4 years ago. Yeah. I said that, in fact, we were bringing in Rocky Mountains. They're around, for an alloy Rocky Mountain,
55 pounds.
50 to 55 pounds.
Yep.
And we talked to Rocky Mountain and they called me, and I felt honored because they called me and said, hey, we want to know what you think it is that these bikes need. What do you think is going to happen in the future?
Yeah, higher bottom bracket.
No.
Just based on my experience.
No, yeah, your experience for sure. And yes, but that's only here. Right. Because we have lots of rocks.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but truthfully, what I told him is I go lighter. It needs to be lighter. It feels so one thing that the Rocky does that I really, really like is their power delivery is very natural. You feel like a normal bike.
But there's 2 or 3 new ones out that are the same, claiming the same thing.
I'm riding the Bosch, and it does. It's very good.
It feels like the Rocky.
My pivot is a Fazua,
yep,
and it feels great. So yes, everybody's catching up,
except for Specialized.
I don't know, honestly. I have the current model Levo at home, and it's an on-off switch. Talk about a fad. Did you see the new Specialized stump jumper?
It's amazing.
It's not. It's
awesome.
The same fucking thing as the Evo. They just shortened the fork. That's it. There you go.
They shortened the fork on the Evo?
They took the Evo, shortened the fork, and now they're calling it no more Evo, and they're just calling it a stump jumper.
Oh, they took... Okay. Well, the frame actually changed significantly because they used to have that kind of goofy looking bar that came up.
Oh, yeah, but
that's gone.
So not on the Evo. Did I have that on the Evo?
You did have it on the Evo.
Yeah, I did, because I had to route cables through that stupid thing. Yeah. God, what a nightmare. That bike, honestly. So I bought a Specialized stump jumper Evo as an investment bike. It was an investment. I bought it. I bought it off a guy who was trying to get rid of it. It was all taken apart. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to put it back together. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you this much. And I bought it. And then I'll flip it. And that's what I do. You know, that's my little side.
And then you put it together, rode it, figured out it was the best bike you ever rode.
I now know why he didn't put it back together. Because he had pulled all the cables and housing out, and there's internal routing for those things. And they're supposed to make it easier, but somehow he had dislodged it. And so I had to take the stupid rear end off the bike to get the cable routing system back into place so that I could reroute stuff like the brake lines and stuff. Yeah. And it was a nightmare, you know, and trust me, Specialized isn't the only one. So that's another trend or fad. When you talk to Pivot, one thing that Chris at Pivot, Chris Callis has said, you never know, right? I'm not going to hold him to it. Yeah. He's like, we're not running, we're not running our, lines through the head tube, you know, like that's a trend right now. So
that was one of the things actually I added.
Where is it?
I added it since I said about headset cable routing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Like he's like, this is dumb. It doesn't work
for
right.
What?
It's for a little visual.
For a little bit of visual. Yep. It does nothing really.
Yeah. And I can tell you from a bike shop standpoint, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
We got a new brand in, and we sold this $15,000 road bike, beautiful bike, amazing bike. Just fitting the guy. It shows up with a one-piece stem and bar. And I've seen these before. We sold Pinarellos the same way. This bike shows up. We go to fit him. You know, Tyler's fitting this guy.
Yeah.
He needs a different stem. Well, what do you do now? The bike already showed up. It's $15,000.
Take apart the whole thing, man.
Not only that, but I have to say, hey.
I got to order a specific stem.
I'm not paying for it. He is.
Yeah.
So you're buying a $15,000, and then to get it fit properly, you have to buy a new stem and bar combo. That's $350, $450. You know, I'm like, this is dumb. This is the stupidest thing I've seen. And I told Tyler, I go, you need to be loud in their ear and say, hey, anytime this happens, how about you exchange? This is a $15,000 bike. And this gets to one of your other trends and issues is the cost of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm as somebody who is selling this stuff, you'd think I'd be excited. I'm like, yay, this guy's going to have to buy more stuff, but I'm not, because I put myself in his shoes and I look at that bike and I go, God, I don't want to have to spend $350 additional dollars just to make the bike fit me.
Yeah.
Which is a very normal
But that's not
thing.
necessarily that's not an internal headset routing problem. Well, it's a bar stem and combo.
Yeah, no,
or bar and stem combo problem.
But if you, again, this happens. If you buy a bike with all of that internal routing, if we can't fit it to you without pulling apart everything.
Yeah, cutting the brake lines.
We have to pull it all out.
Yeah.
Like you have to disassemble the entire bike.
I think the industry has basically rejected. I mean, it's someone, I think it's Scott, right? Scott's doing
it. Yep.
And my buddy was looking at the male version of Lacey's bike. Lacey's got an older one that doesn't have the Spark.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, it was a great price. I'm like, it's great. It's light. It's the bike ride's great.
Yeah.
But they got the fork hidden or the shocks hidden inside. I'm like, that looks like, I don't know for sure, but that looks like a whole big pain in the ass to maintain.
So you want to know I can
tell me this is
because we sell these, you know, yes, they are a pain. Like Carlos won't even work. Shout out to Carlos. Got to do one every episode.
That's right. We talked about him. That was Justin's joke in the last episode,
exactly.
right?
Carlos won't.
He's never once listened to him on.
Yeah, they got like
podcast.
million cables going to the suspension and turn on and off, but they're a pain in the ass to pull those.
Yeah, that twin lock shit.
Yep, yeah, and we have to pull those out of the bike. Now, here's the thing that I didn't realize that's kind of cool. The few that I've done, because this is a newer design, the rear shocks are in really good shape.
Because they're protected from all the elements.
The dust and the nastiness that I usually see on the inside of just the air can. Just the air can, not even in the damper, is much lower. So that little protection is nice. I think ultimately, if you stop with the lockouts and you just have that thing in there, it would be a really killer. I think it's a really cool, awesome design. As soon as you start adding the lockouts, you just add complexity. But
who needs it? If your bike's designed correctly, why do you need a lockout anymore? I mean, when's the last time you flipped your climb switch?
Okay, here's a prediction.
Because the Geo's so good.
Here's a future trend.
Go for it.
Shout out to Jimmy at SRAM.
Okay. What's up, Jimmy? You should switch to Shimano.
Because I've got a set of flight attendant suspension to put on my bike to test out. And so I get to give him feedback. Here's the cool thing about this flight attendant. It's wireless and it automatically does its job. So I could see that this Scott starts to adopt these wireless suspension systems. You get rid of these cables. Yeah. So they're not in the bike. You don't have to deal with them. Mechanics are not angry. I was at the, and trust me, like, please don't cut this out of this episode.
You just accused me of something, man.
Well, I'm just saying that I'm going to badmouth Scott, and it's not on purpose because I like Scott. I'm probably going
to cut this out.
No, don't do it. But the rep was there. I was at Sedona, and I was checking out the bikes, and the reps are trying to show me the bikes. I'm trying to learn them because we're new with Scott, and I'm trying to get an idea of the differences between them because they look very similar. You look at their cross-country race bike, and you look at their trail bike, and they look almost identical. And I found out most cases they're the same frame, but there's slight differences.
Right.
But the mechanic that was chiming in, that works there, that was getting bikes ready for demos at Sedona, was the angriest.
Oh, you talked about this on a previous episode, actually.
Like he was just, I would have fired that guy in a heartbeat. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but because
he was having a bad day.
Well, not only that, but he has to sit there and deal with those lockouts all day long. Right. So I totally empathize with him. I know where he's coming from because I'm sure he's just angry. Probably kicks his dog when he gets home, but.
Yeah, I mean, we replaced on Lacey's. We replaced the rear shock with one that wasn't twin lock compatible, and I think you made a to that because it had a 32 on the front. I think you made some type of added something to that 32.
Did I do a 30? Did I make it a 30? Did I make it a 120?
Well, you did make it a 120, but also you got rid of whatever that assembly was on the top, where the twin lock hooks on, and you put on like a lever, a normal compression.
Yeah, we just converted it to crown adjust. They call it. Yeah. So and so I think prediction, if I was Scott, I would be looking hard at this flight attendant and getting it integrated into the bike because you get rid of all those cables, front and rear. So that's 2 cables off the bike. You got a rear brake cable going in and a front brake cable that doesn't need to be in the frame. And now you make your bike one of the easiest to work on instead of one of the hardest.
Isn't like, and I know this is like a neophyte thing to say, but like there's something like, I don't know, the analog nature of a mechanical assembly. Okay. It has no electricity running through it. Mm-hmm. There's something awesome about that. There's something
it is like reliable. It's safe.
Reliable, safe. Super it feels safe. Great.
Yep.
All of this electronic shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's the e-bike itself, the motor itself, you get dropper, you got shifters. I'm sure brakes are coming soon. I think there's actually a couple. There's a couple companies.
There's a guy that hacked one. Used a RC.
Yeah, we talked
controller.
About that. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass, man. I mean, it's like a cyborg. Mm-hmm. Like eventually it's just going to be a car.
So what I'm seeing another trend. I don't know if it'll stick around, but I don't think your gearbox thing will happen in 2 years. So
it's we've already established it's going to. So
no, that's what you're saying. We'll see, but we have to wait frickin' 2 years.
I'm going to send you some videos and you're going to see, cause they're already out in Europe. You're going to see them and you're going to be like, oh shit.
Well, Pinion's got one.
Yeah. Pinion.
Yeah. Like, dude,
I think Pinion's actually the one that worked with Shimano on this.
That could be. So, I rode that gas, with the new SRAM motor.
Okay. Did it have the new?
It has
the DVO. Did it have the DVO?
Yeah, the WP DVO,
which has got the cup and cone design.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the DVO when we do the DVO episode. I want to talk to those guys about that.
Yeah. It was the reps, so the suspension was not set up in my liking, and I didn't want to go changing it because it was his bike. I didn't want to mess with it. So I didn't get to really do it. I went off the loading dock and it was great, but the bike was cool. I think gas is cool. I told them that from the feedback that I got from people is if they just changed the name, the bikes would do a lot better.
But gas has got some meaning in the motorcycle.
You got
community.
a moto guy who will recognize it. He's probably going to be great with it. But there are some e-bike people that are almost offended because they're trying to stop people
associating them.
Yeah.
And the design of those gas actually look like motorcycles.
They put like these flares on them and stuff.
I talked to those guys when I was out at Sea Otter. But they own Husqvarna.
Yeah.
They own gas, but they also own felt.
Yes.
So could they just not reissue those bikes, that design under felt, pull off some of that flare that makes it look like a motorcycle? Just roll it.
You just nailed something since they own the two companies. But sometimes when you own two companies doesn't mean those two companies are run together. They're run separate, and it's sometimes hard to integrate them. Right?
Yeah.
You know that.
I do.
Yeah. And so sometimes they're almost competitors. And in fact, they kind of are,
but I don't know if I'd put felt and gas as competitors. But
if gas took that bike and rebadged it, cleaned it up, got rid of some of the moto stuff and called it a felt, I think they would do very little harm to the gas reputation, and it would increase the non-moto people.
And you could almost offer it under both names and have one that's like flared out and with the cup and cone and designed specifically for moto guys that want to also have an e-bike, and then one for the felt customers that want an e-bike, and you could have share R&D. I mean, it seems okay. Go ahead and send us our royalty for this idea. Gas and felt. I can't remember the name, the company that the parent company.
I can't either. It's Pierre or
IPL or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Pierre or something.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We're looking at gas as a dealership, and I haven't got a ton of feedback on the name. That was the biggest complaint.
But it doesn't Ride Now carry them in Tucson?
So that's the other thing is because
they're putting them in moto shops.
They go into moto shops, and they're walking a real gray area.
It's unclear,
fuzzy. Yeah,
their market's unclear.
But it had the new SRAM motor. So this new SRAM motor, if I remember correctly, and feel free to shout out and tell me I'm wrong because I love that. It makes me do research. But
every time you see SRAM, I think I'm going to throw up a little bit.
So here's the thing: is the SRAM motor, I believe, is built by Bros, which makes the Specialized motors.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay,
you're going to have
it must
to start,
be good.
You're gonna
I don't like this. I just talked about the fact I didn't like the Specialized motor, so you're just making my case.
But so it only has I think it's only 2 or 3 modes, but maybe 2 modes.
Tunable?
Not really. So basically they got like a rally, if I remember, which is like full power,
turbo.
Yeah. And then they've got like a eco, I think. I feel bad that I didn't memorize these, but we don't sell this product, so I didn't spend the time.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that they have done is they have integrated with transmission on some of the models that have access transmission.
Yeah.
And all transmission is wireless electric now.
Yep.
And now, always. And
did you see SRAM came out with the low end transmission now?
Yeah, the S1000.
Yeah.
But you can't buy it. It's got to come on the bike.
Oh, it's only
OE only.
OE only. Okay.
Yeah.
For now,
because what if you break a derailleur? They'll probably make you buy a GX. That's, if I had to guess, that's what they're going to do, but it'll be temporary. So
yeah, eventually it'll come down.
So what they did with the SRAM system is because they have everything integrated, they have auto shift, a true auto shift, like automatic transmission. So I rode this thing and I put it in auto and I went and just sprinted down the street. And because transmission does so well, much better than Shimano at shifting under load, and with an e-bike, which puts extra load, much more load, this thing shifted like a dream.
So when did Shimano release their automatic shift? It was 6 months, 12 months ago. So you were telling me that SRAM's ahead of Shimano?
You act like you know what you're talking about, but Shimano has had auto shift for about 20 years.
Oh,
So,
look at that.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And SRAM,
On
SRAM's just now getting around to it in 2024.
On commuter bikes, there was a bike that I used to sell called a Trek Lime. And
Okay.
it had an auto shift 3-speed
Okay.
by Shimano.
How'd it work?
It used cadence,
Okay.
I believe cadence sensor. It had a front sensor on the front wheel, and it was a 3-speed. And so it had a servo that pulled the chain and back and forth to shift the gears.
Okay.
And it was based on cadence versus speed, I believe. Okay. And it was cool. I actually pulled apart one of those bikes, and I was trying to figure out how to put it on a mountain bike. I just never got to it. But
right.
The problem was it was clunky. It didn't work that great.
Yeah.
And it was really commuter based. And I will tell you the same thing. After riding this SRAM on this mountain bike, whenever I've seen an auto shift, because Shimano does have an auto shifting mode, it's not quite auto, but on their road bike Di2 groups, it's sequential is what it is. So sequential means when you have a double on the front and like 11 in the rear, there is an overlap of gearing. And so when it'll
automatically shift the front and back based on the combination.
Well, so yeah, as you're going through the gears, you have some duplicates, and what you can do is set it up to where you hit, and I believe SRAM is doing this too. You can hit the button and it'll shift to first, or it's in first, it'll shift to 2, 3, 4, 5. But when it gets to the doubles, it'll automatically skip them. So you get to the next gear. And I think there's a round, because when I was at Fairwheel, we developed this. Jason and a guy that he worked with wrote the app, and we made the first Di2 mountain group.
I know. I was at I saw it on Interbike.
Did you?
I was at Interbike when Fairwheel was there. And we were checking it out.
I helped build those shifters.
Interesting.
And but I have very little credit in that. By the way, I don't want to say that I did much. I did a very little part. Jason was the brainchild, and then he had a buddy who wrote apps for Apple.
Right on.
Who was able to program them, and that was the older Di2 that was a ones and zeros. So you had wires to everything.
Yep.
And so then
I think Shimano still has wires to everything.
No. So like there's now, they use a bus system. They all do. And so a bus system, that's when you're pairing your stuff, you're training it to speak a language, and you can have multiple languages on the same wire, and the component that speaks that language.
But Shimano's not wireless yet. The mountain bike group is wireless?
No. Mountain bike group nobody talks about because nobody rides it. Like it's okay. That's not true, because I went on a ride. Pivot's got them on one of their bikes, and they can plug into their, so they're wireless, but they plug them into the e-bike. So they have continuous power.
Okay.
So no battery.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Which is great. And the SRAM bike I was telling you about does.
Same thing.
They have the auto shift.
Yep.
I think Aaron tapped that derailleur on one rock on South Mountain, and it automatically couldn't shift right and then shut down.
This is the SRAM you're talking about.
This is the Shimano I'm talking about.
I know.
And we're talking very expensive Shimano. I have seen people stand on the SRAM.
Oh, here we go.
And it doesn't do that.
Here we go.
But we started this with me telling you about the SRAM system. Even their auto shifting. So you're not shifting at all. You're pedaling, and it's using your power output and cadence. So you got your torque sensor, you got your cadence and your speed, all giving it info, and it's changing gears for that. So as you go up a hill and you slow down your pedaling and your torque goes up, it starts shifting gears for you.
Oh, interesting.
It's really cool. And I still came back and I told the gas guy, I go, this needs to be on commuters. Because one of the problems,
which I'm sure he loved to hear,
because here's the problem. The people that really, really, really want the bike to do it for them are the people that are not really riding as aggressively. Like when I'm riding, I'm seeing the terrain and I'm anticipating shifts. I haven't seen a system yet that is faster than me as far as anticipating that climb. And there's like on a trail that we ride, Upper 50, there's one section where we're coming down this super steep section. It's a long descent in like really technical.
Yeah.
And then right at the bottom, there's a straight up.
Yep.
And you as a rider know it's coming. So you anticipate the shift. And I actually shout to people behind me.
Downshift.
Downshift. Yep. Yeah. Or get in a better gear or whatever,
Yeah.
And that if I use that bike, what will happen is the computer will realize it as I'm slowing momentum, losing the momentum, And then by the time it shifts,
it'll be too late.
Yeah.
You'll be stuck. You'll be hung up on the uphill.
Yep. Yeah. And yes, the SRAM system with the transmission is more likely to continue to shift with the motor, but it's still going to be pretty slow. And then I'm going to slow my momentum. Whereas if I do it as a rider, I can ride that uphill and then keep, be in the gear that I anticipate and then be up that hill and pedaling at the cadence I need to keep my speed up.
So next trend. What do you think about shorter cranks?
Oh God.
So it was when we had Andrew Wolf on, the physiologist, and he told me, dude, you got to speed up your cadence.
Yeah.
And then I was dealing with pedal strikes the first time I started dealing with pedal strikes was when we overstroked the Epic Evo.
Yeah.
And it, for whatever, I guess it makes sense that it dropped my...
Yeah, because it raises your bottom bracket a little bit. It shouldn't. It's the same eye to eye. It
dropped my...
It shouldn't have done anything. That's all in your head. You did something wrong.
Okay. Well, I didn't get pedal strikes, and then I started getting a shit ton of pedal strikes.
We overstroked it, but we had replaced the shock.
We did?
We took off the rock shock.
No, it had sit on it initially, and then it had a step cast, a 34 step cast.
The rear shock. Because remember, we overstroked the rear. I overstroked both.
Okay. Because I took the 120 off the front, put a 130 on, and then we took the 110 off the back, and we put a 120 on.
Yeah, but those, so when you overstroke the rear, they're the same distance. So they call that eye to eye, right?
Yep.
And so that is the same distance. The difference is maybe you went from a 50 millimeter stroke to a 55.
Yep. That's, I think, exactly what we did.
Yeah, which doesn't change the distance of the eye to eye. So the bike's geometry doesn't change at all. What it does is it allows the rear travel to move 5 millimeters farther than it used to.
Yep.
And I told you have to check clearance. So you have to drop the air pressure.
Which I did.
Yeah.
And the clearance worked.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the fork that could have dropped my...
when you go higher, that goes higher. And so that's why I'm saying, so remember,
it goes higher unless I'm compressed, right? No, it's the same.
It's the same. So your bike actually
why
got
am I getting
taller.
more?
Well, you put two different suspension systems on there versus the other one. It's very possible that your compression settings are totally different. Your air sag was different. Everything.
So I just have the things fucking set up wrong.
It probably had
which you
more
were telling
sag.
me how shitty I rode last night. So you were being super nice about it. But
it wasn't that. I was like,
why do you think you're so timid on your bike, Josh?
It was noticeable.
You climb really well, but
you did, dude. Every time you hit a hill, it looked like you had a motor. I was like, he's on a Z-bike, and I'm like, you just took off. And then on the descent, I was like, I could physically see you slow down, and I was like, okay, so that's mental. Like it's either mental because it's fully mental, or something on the bike is giving you bad feedback and not giving you confidence.
Interesting. So, well, we'll keep working on that. But
what was your trend? What was shorter cranks?
It was shorter cranks, and it was when we did the overstroke. That's when I started getting pedal strikes. I don't know why. Probably set up wrong.
I'm guessing you had more sag than you realized.
Probably.
Maybe the air pressures were off, or when you set your sag, you weren't. Maybe the fork or they break in. Yeah. So when they're new, they'll be sticky at first. You can set your sag, and then you got to ride it a few times, and then it'll start dropping.
Okay.
And so you got to reset your air. So that's my guess.
Okay.
Because you actually lifted your bottom bracket doing that.
So that doesn't make sense. Yeah. No logic at all there.
Now your Rocky. Broken. Okay. So let's talk about your Rocky.
The Rocky from the first ride.
Yeah.
From the first ride.
And we've seen this. So you're a bigger guy. Your stature.
250 pounds.
Not about weight though. It's just you're tall. And so as you get taller, you have more leverage when you're sitting on the seat against that rear swing arm, which didn't change.
Yep.
So if you put a short person on a Rocky, and even if they're 200 pounds, they are not leveraging the back end of that bike like a scissors.
Oh, interesting.
And so as that thing goes up, it gets more leverage. And we're noticing this when when I ride my Rocky, when I first got mine, I didn't have a ton of pedal strokes, but I run a little stiffer.
Yep.
I also have way better technique than you. I actually stopped pedaling through the rocks.
That's what she said.
So, and I also, and remember, I've said this on the podcast before, I also always add 10 millimeters to my travel on the front. Yeah. So that bike never got ridden stock. As soon as I got it, I put a DVO on the front.
So you raised it up right away.
Always.
And mine, we haven't, we put the different coilover on the back. The J, I think.
Yeah,
it was the J
but that was
after.
That was after pedal
Yep.
strikes,
and the coilover actually helped
a big time because it won't sag quite as much.
Yeah.
It'll keep you kind of a little firmer. Your sag won't be quite as much, and it still gives you that pillowy ride.
Yeah.
But what I'm noticing about the Rocky linkage, and this is not just you. So there's a couple other customers. Tyler's Rocky.
He's a taller guy too.
Yep, taller guys. And so you're leveraging. You're kind of scissoring that bike more. It's got more leverage ratio. You can fiddle with the Ride 9 a little bit to change it.
Yep.
But for the most part, if you put it in the high setting, the high bottom bracket setting, you still have that issue. And I've noticed this. This is an experiential thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a piece of paper that says this. I don't think even if Rocky understands, because we've called them.
Dude, I talked to him at Sea Otter, and they were like, I walked up, I'm like, I'm having a problem with my power play. He looked at me and said, pedal strikes?
Yeah. Okay, good.
I was like, yeah.
All right, finally. Because with Tyler's bike, his old one, his old Altitude, which was 27.5, they were like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And we ended up mulleting his and putting a coil on it. And he said it was the best riding bike he's ever had. It's awesome. Once we did that. You know?
Well, I mean, so I did what you did. It was got a lot less pedal strikes with the coilover.
Yep.
But still had them. I ended up getting the 160.
Yep. From
North Shore Billet.
Yep. Yeah.
And
which is making a power play version.
It was
a
specific power play version.
Yep. Yeah.
Had to get a couple adapters, a new bottom bracket, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, it worked out great.
Yeah.
It was not cheap. I mean, it was probably $500 to do all that stuff.
I mean, so let's talk about that. The short crank trend. We have a couple go-tos where we go to.
Yeah.
So back in the day, it was like kids. So you can find anything. Because no parent is going to throw $500 on a crank towards their kid's $300 bike.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they had a $300 bike, that kid had a cool bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't a Walmart bike.
Yep.
I had a customer, Alexis and Dave, which are awesome, and they started riding short cranks. And this was back when I was at Trek. So this is a good 15 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they were into short cranks. Now, she got into it because she was riding a Trek at the time, and the head tube was pretty straight up and down.
Right.
I'm sorry, it was a Specialized. The head tube was really steep. It was a women's specific.
Yeah.
It was a tiny bike. She's a small lady. And
probably had SRAM on it too.
Nope. Yeah. And she complained about the Shimano all day long. She kept hitting her toes on the wheel when it would turn.
Okay.
Now on a road bike that happens. So on the smaller bikes, you have 700C wheels. You get somebody who's riding a 49, especially the older ones. The rake of the fork would cause the slow speed turn in the parking lot. Your toe could actually interact with the
I had a cyclocross bike that would happen to me on.
That should never happen on somebody who's 6'2"?
6'3", yeah.
6'3".
Yeah.
Like that's a weird ass bike. Whoever built that.
Yeah, Surly.
Yeah, slap them. Like that's just bad geometry if it's that big a bike, But on tiny little bikes for ladies or little people or men or whatever. I don't know.
Small people,
shorter people. Those tiny bikes, those wheels start to get close together.
Yeah.
And toe overlap is an issue.
So she was riding shorter cranks.
So she shortened the cranks, and the way that I met her is she came in trying to get her bike worked on, and we started talking about, I'm like, you need a different bike. Something's wrong with this. And she's like, I can't find one. And I said, I'm pretty sure the Trek, at the time I was working at Trek, is going to have less toe overlap. And I actually sold her a brand new bike, carbon bike, because of that. And sure enough, the geometry had changed enough to where the head tube was slack enough where it kicked the tire out.
She had no toe overlap. 10 or 20 millimeters, and she was good.
But in that time, she had discovered short cranks.
And she just got used to that cadence.
And she liked them.
Yep.
And the cadence, once you get hooked up, and this happens with e-bikes, because they promote you to do a higher cadence.
And I've noticed a lot of the e-bikes are coming with shorter cranks too.
Yep. Yeah, not just the short cranks, but the high cadence. They want high cadence.
Yeah.
They want
that. That's how the engines work better.
Yep.
The motors work better.
It gives them less stress.
Yep.
There's less torque needed, and they work more efficiently.
Yep.
So she enjoyed that, and so I have sold her like 5 or 6 sets of cranks, and we were taking the cranks and sending them to a machine shop, and they were shortening them. And then re-drilling and retapping them. And they were doing a great job. The guy was back east who used to do them, and he was legit, like doing a good job. Like a lot of people, think I'm going to drill holes in my crank and just tap it. Yeah, you can't do that. So like a lot of them are cavity backed, so you can't do that. A lot of them are hollow core. You can't do that. And so this guy was very good about working within the tolerances of the crank and doing it at a machine shop level that was very accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, your cranks aren't all wonky, your pedals aren't crooked or anything like that.
So what are the companies that so North Shore Billet offers them now?
So yeah, that was back then, and we were getting 140s, 150s, 155s, 148s. Like I you know, she ended up giving me a box full at one point for kids. You know,
right. Yeah.
Because they just were, they got Rocky Mountain altitudes or Rocky Mountain e-bikes, and the shortest we could get them are 165s.
Yep.
And she was
That's the race face ones, right?
Yep. The race face. And for a little while, they were the only ones kind of making something that would really interact. And that's why North Shore is new.
Yep.
And what people found is their cranks had a race face interface for the chainring. It's called cinch.
Yep.
And that's important for the Rockies. And then because the clutch system in the crank is built for that. And then they could get a spindle that was separate. A lot of these newer 30 mils, they have separate spindles. So you can actually add longer spindles. That's how race face are.
Okay.
30 mil, only the 30 mil. And so, or you have to run a DH crank. And so anyway, North Shore started getting requests because people were putting up online.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they started making, you got one of the first ones that I've seen where they actually branded it as Power Play.
Yeah. I mean, it was that day.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to North Shore and she's like, okay, they're going to go on sale Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. And at like 9 a.m., Eastern time.
Was she like, you got to go on and hit refresh to get one?
Yeah. Basically that's what I was doing.
She couldn't just order you one?
I didn't know.
It's Consumer Direct. Don't get me started.
Oh my God. Here we go again with the Consumer Direct.
Well, it's just dumb. Like you're talking to her. Hey, here's my money. When it comes in, send it to me.
It's just a machine shop,
dude.
And they don't have sophisticated ordering systems.
And nothing against them because they're doing something that nobody's doing, which I think is awesome.
But forget the Power Play thing. But like what other companies offer?
So North Shore,
a
big one that we're seeing that's really making a push to make their availability known is another machine shop. It's 5Dev.
5Dev. They're in San Diego, right?
Yep,
I think.
Yeah, and same thing. These guys are machining them. They're the ones making them.
Yep.
And I think that's why, because they're doing that. And then there's another company, if you want the budget, way to go, but it won't fit the Power Play. Yeah. I got to double check.
Is it Simox or something like that? No,
Simox are like a kid's style.
Okay.
No, it's called Canfield. You've heard of Canfield?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They took over the stock from Gorilla Gravity when they went out of business.
They've been on the short cranks for a while.
Okay.
In fact, we got a Lexus, I think at least one or two sets of those.
Okay.
And they are great because they're around $250 instead of $550.
Yeah.
Which the other machine shop ones are. And you can get them in a bunch of different lengths. So we have been using that for the most part.
Okay, so Canfield, 5Dev,
and then North Shore Bullet. And there's more out there. You can get 165 in most of the companies.
Yeah.
But to get down to the 160 or 155. 160, ironically, is very easy to get if you're on a road bike.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, and back
That's because Europeans are small.
No. It's not at all. It's because, now think about this. So when you buy a mountain bike, what cranks do you typically get as a 6'3" guy?
175.
Right?
Yep.
If you're 5'2", guess what cranks you get?
175. Well, no, 170s.
No,
At least you got
165 a lot of times. So it depends on the company.
Yeah, that's true.
But have you noticed a trend? It goes 165, 170, 175. In the road world,
it's like by 2.5s, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And in the road world, they are way more, I guess,
size specific.
Picky. Yeah. About the length, because when it comes to fit, and can you tell me why?
When it comes to fit, can I tell you why? I mean, easier to fit the right saddle height if you have smaller increments in the cranks.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Where I was going with it was that you're in the same position
forever
for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And on a mountain bike, you just aren't. You're moving around the bike.
Unless your technique's real bad.
Well, or you ride Vortex, and you never move your butt off the saddle. But truthfully, mountain bikers are constantly switching angles. They're cornering, they're turning, they're shifting their weight forward and backwards. They're not really in that same position. Road bikers are rarely doing that. They can spend 4 hours on a road ride in the same position. And so getting them tuned to that is much harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that from a personal experience. If I ride a road bike, I can only do about 25 miles before my knees give out. And it's one of the biggest reasons I don't ride road bikes anymore is, and I have them and I want to ride them, but every time I do, they start to lock up and I'm not ready to get new knees yet. But on a mountain bike, it takes a lot longer. And that's because I'm not in that same position over and over again. And so I'm giving it a break. I'm moving and shifting the weight of the knee back and forth. I'm taking the load, and changing it. So anyway, road cranks come in many more. Also, a big trend in triathlons is been to short cranks. And
just higher cadence.
It's not the cadence. It is less of your thigh coming into your chest or stomach.
Okay.
So you can
just
create
better ride position,
better and more aerodynamic. You can get scrunched up, more. And so, you end up, getting more, lung full. You're not collapsing your lung on your pedal strokes.
If you're not extending as far, you also have less wind resistance, right?
Exactly. And tri bikes in particular don't need as much leverage. Can you tell me where short cranks are the worst idea?
Where short cranks are the worst idea? Give me a hint.
Or will affect somebody the most adversely. If that's a better way to put it?
On a single speed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because
the leverage.
You need the leverage. Yeah. And the single speeders are the hardest ones to deal with because they're constantly trying to keep that power, and that one gear that they've chosen because they're weird.
I feel like that's a trend that's died.
I don't think so.
Really?
Well, okay.
Because I used to own a single speed and I'd go out and I'd always see guys on single speeds. And now every once in a while, there's like an old guy.
Yeah.
It's like a 55 or older. It's like an old greasy guy.
So it
hasn't moved on from 2005.
So it gets back to me. A trend is something when you look at it in a small amount of time, it's just a trend. But whether it becomes a rhythmic trend that happens over and over again, as you move backwards and look at a longer period of time, you start to see that trends repeat themselves.
But I'm thinking back like Spot, Niner. I mean, hell, even Trek and SRAM, and they all offered single speeds. You can't find them now.
We used to sell a Pivot less single speed. They used to have that. They don't have it anymore. Yeah.
I mean, no one offers. Yeah. I mean, you can go to Spot, you can go to Surly and get a Krampus. You can. I mean, there's some kind of fringe brands.
Yeah. I think what will happen, in my opinion, because single speed's still cool.
Yeah.
I think what happens is there's a point where the technology and all the stuff coming out kind of overloads everybody, and they just want to retreat to simplicity and that quiet. That we sell those Onyx hubs, which are silent, and the feedback that 99% of the people that buy them are because they just love that when they stop pedaling, it's quiet. And,
oh man, I like that clicking noise.
Yeah, man. Well, so now you get a Nika kid. They want their hubs as loud as possible.
Oh, for hell's sake. Yeah. Now you're saying I'm like a little kid.
Yeah. Well,
I guess my bike kind of looks like a little kid bike right now.
It's true. But truthfully, I think there's a point where you get bored with the sport and then you want something different.
It's just punk rock.
It's true. Right. And also it's bragging points, right? I rode a single speed at Robles and about died. And
I've ridden a single speed in every trail. Besides Bug Springs,
dude, once it gets rocky, I just could not keep my momentum and address the rocks and stand up. I would spin out. Like I was riding with a guy named Steve. He's an awesome guy. Steve Kamahe.
Yeah.
And we were doing Robles and I literally was like, dude, this sucks. And we turned around and went back down the hill.
It is pretty. Was it a front suspension at least? A hard?
Yeah, I just put a front suspension, which I thought would make a difference. But before that, I was riding full rigid.
Yeah.
But I normally rode my single speed with my kids, so there was very little challenge.
Yeah.
Now I go out with a guy who's got a single speed, and he was riding, I think, full rigid. And I just could not just clean the obstacles. I was just walking way more than I wanted to. And I was just like, this is dumb.
I got to tell you though, like my fastest times at a 24-hour race,
we're on a single speed.
We're on a single speed.
That's not
I don't know. It was maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
But it's only because that course is not technical at all.
Yeah.
Right. And that you have a long sustained climb on the back and you can't, with a single speed, you can't bitch out.
That's true.
You just have to stand up and go. You can't just
sit.
So I would climb that hill so much faster because you have no choice. You can't sit down. Otherwise you got to stop and walk.
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the guys that comes in the shop has a single speed. It's like 16 pounds. Yeah. It's crazy light. Yeah. And I think
he rode with us out at,
Devin. And so I feel like single speeds are still there and people like them, but I think they're just kind of the cyclical
fringe. It's on the fringe right now.
It's cyclical.
Do you think it's going to come back?
I think it'll come back. Yeah.
All right. So maybe you want to make this prediction? So what year is it going to come back?
So here's the crazy thing is like 10, 15 years ago, there was a resurgence in single speeds.
Yeah.
Guess what was the most desirable single speed?
What was the most? Well, I mean, like the Surleys.
Belt drive.
Oh, yeah. Spot.
Yeah. Well, not just Spot. Like Redline had one. There was a bunch, monocog belt, there was a bunch of them. And that's when belts were cyclical, right?
But belts are coming back. Maybe belts and single speeds come back at the same time.
What about
should buy stock in?
Tell me this.
What
about an e-bike single speed? You think anybody would ride that?
An e-bike single speed. It would have to have a drive like a snowmobile. You know what I mean? That doesn't have gears, or Subarus.
What do they call those? Yeah,
like the continuous drives or whatever. They're like,
what the hell are those called?
I don't know, but
the transmission.
Yeah, it's like there's no gears.
Yeah, it's like centrifugal or something like that.
Yeah. So if it was something like that, I can totally see it. And maybe that's part of what they're going to do. Maybe we just came up with a great idea. Maybe I'll cut this part out of the podcast and we'll go patent this idea. Let's take the Subaru technology.
Okay.
All right, man. So
you said shorter cranks. So
I said shorter cranks.
Ultimately, I think what's going to happen, I think what causes shorter cranks is pedal strikes.
Yeah.
I think there's less people doing shorter cranks for high cadence. So does that make sense?
It does.
So if it becomes something that takes off, it's only because the bottom brackets are going to remain low and it becomes a pedal, or the industry goes, hey, this is better. We can lower the center of gravity and you just have to deal with it. But I think that the shorter cranks for a different cadence is not necessarily going to take off. So,
okay. So, but, and we're not going to get into like the riding stuff here because we've already burned through an hour and 6 minutes, by the way, and we've gotten through like 4 things on our list. Let's save the riding stuff for later.
Yeah, but I want to talk about one.
Okay, go for it.
There was, you put decrease in 24-hour race format.
Yeah.
So, okay. I feel like the most popular race in Tucson, because we have
is 24 hours in the Old Pueblo.
It is like hugely popular. We all love it.
Yep.
I would say there's only one thing that makes us not go.
The fact that I've done it 20 times?
No. Well, I mean, for you, maybe. Yeah. Like everybody's got
the weather
reasons.
Is so crazy.
The money. That's the number one.
Every race.
The number one complaint I hear about the 24. And I feel like that format would be more popular if it wasn't so expensive.
I don't know. They've died. I mean, I've done 24-hour races all over the country.
Yeah.
And there used to be, I haven't looked recently. There used to be dozens and dozens and dozens that you could do. There was a dozen in Arizona alone.
Yeah.
There's like one now in Arizona that I know
and
of.
it's still going strong. It sells out every year.
It's amazing. I mean, it's one of the epic kind of races in the country.
Yeah. I feel like so do you think that one's still going because of either the venue or the way they put it on, or what do you think?
I just think
why
it's
is it
kind of
stuck?
It's kind of like established some kind of epic lore. It's like one of those epic events that like.
Do you think it's just Tucson? I mean, the people come from all over the country.
Yeah, I mean
the world.
Yeah, so the timing is cool because we're riding. It's prime riding season here in February,
and a lot of
everywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
for the most part,
it's like shitty. It's either super cold or snowy or whatever.
Yeah.
So part of it's like good. I get to get on my bike. It's like the first race of the season.
Yeah.
I can go out and kind of stretch the legs while I'm still in the crappy, spring, late summer, early spring. That's got to be part of it. It's an amazing event. Todd and Epic Rides, those guys have done awesome for years and years and years and years and years. I mean, we had Lance racing here. Like we've had everybody. We've had everybody here.
Samstead and I mean, I almost punched Stans in the nose and do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. You have to go back and listen to episodes to hear that story.
Yeah.
I think about that race and I think about how much I do enjoy it. I don't get to go to it because it conflicts with my downhill series, but I every time I do go to it, like this year I skipped the downhill series and I was out there and I just think about how many people love it. It's great. The course is fun. It's nothing special. I mean, the rock, there's like 3 features that everybody knows, you know, and that's it. The bitches, the rock, and the climb. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then,
for sure, that's it.
And then, you know, there's the people and the party atmosphere.
It's like, I mean, people ask
me. It's like
me
a bike festival almost.
Well, people ask me like, what's it like? And I'm like, if you could imagine Burning Man with bikes, that's basically.
Oh, dude, you remember? That was Brian Vance.
Was he the one that told us that?
So remember we did our podcast
over
out there and he was like, hey man, I came up with this and Todd took it and I didn't get any credit. Which
I don't even remember where I heard it.
Which
so that's
happens,
awesome.
I think, all the time.
Yeah, every day. Yeah. Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Right?
So,
you said the exact same thing.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing. It's awesome. Did I say the exact same thing then too?
Yes, that's what I mean. Like you said that to him. You're like the exact same thing.
All right, man. So I think we're probably good at this point.
Okay. I don't know if we resolved or
we didn't resolve shit.
We just talked for the whole time.
Yeah, basically. And we have a whole list of things, like 30 things.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do.
We only
got
through like. I mean, this was mostly until you screwed up the format at the end by bringing up the 24-hour race.
Yes,
it was mostly just technology.
Yeah. But that could be a precursor because I'd like people to comment.
Yeah, because I really want to talk about, and we'll do this in a future episode, but I really want to talk about like how riding has changed.
Yeah.
And how like gravity's kind of taken over a bit.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of dive into that. And
like what are you looking forward to, or what got you into the sport?
Yeah.
You know, like what's going on. That would be great if anyone has comments, put them on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. You can send us a note.
Yeah.
You can just click right in the show notes. You'll see, send us a text and we get the fan mail.
I love reading
We've been getting some fan mail and a lot of spam things lately.
Is it porn?
No, but if I get any, I'll send it to you.
Okay. I'm down. Midget porn.
Oh my gosh.
Midget
okay.
Porn.
And with that. Oh, we're going out on midget porn. That's perfect.
Don't put that as the title. Or I'm going to have to make a shirt.
Take care, guys.